मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय
Open your prayer book. We'll chant the prayers on page 7 and 8. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांतिः Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Go to page 24 in our prayer book. If a man continuously hears bad words, if a man continuously hears bad words, thinks bad thoughts, does bad actions, his mind will be full of bad impressions, and they will influence his thought and work without his being conscious of the fact. So these are the words spoken by Swami Vivekananda. And here Swamiji is stressing on the importance of thoughts and the thought process. Swamiji says when we listen to wrong words or when we watch wrong things and when we are in the company of wrong people, then we unconsciously, unknowingly develop those qualities. So we may not consciously learn that, we may not be practicing it, but because of our presence there, we tend to develop those qualities automatically, and many times we don't even realize that we have learned those qualities because we have not done it intentionally. So Swamiji says, so to this we should always try to be in good company. So when we have a negative company, obviously, right, those people talk about all things which are not necessary for us, and we don't learn anything from it, and we tend to learn only wrong things. So when we have correct thoughts in our mind, then we do things in the right way. And when we start doing things in the right way, it becomes a habit for us. And thereby, those habits become qualities in us, and people recognize us only because of those qualities which we have. So thoughts are interrelated to all the things which we do. The way we speak to others, the way we interact with others, the situations where we react, the situations where we act, everything depends on our thought process. So to illustrate this thought, I would like to narrate a short anecdote which I was reading a few months back in a book. I have read that book many times. So again I was reading that book, I came across that story. So there was a balloon seller, and he was selling balloons on the beach. So he took a red color balloon and he used to infuse helium gas inside it and leave it. So because of the innate power of helium, the balloon rises very high in the sky. And all the children who are on the beach at that moment look at that balloon which is flying, and immediately they rush to the balloon seller, and it increases sales of the balloon seller. So one day a child goes to that balloon seller, and then he asked a question to him. He said, every time you send only a red color balloon into the air, is it possible to send a black or yellow or blue color balloon also into the air? Then the balloon seller smiles and he says, yes, definitely it is possible, because the color of the balloon doesn't matter here. What matters is what is inside that balloon. The gas, the helium which is present, it pushes the balloon into the sky. So similarly, right, the thoughts which we have in our mind, they push us forward. It may be in the right direction or it may be in some other direction. That is why we should always be careful with our thoughts. That is why Swamiji here again says, similarly, if a man thinks good thoughts and does good works, the sum total of these impressions will be good, and they, in a similar manner, will force him to do good even in spite of himself. Similarly, in a similar situation, when we always try to think good of others, take everything in the positive sense, read good things, listen to good things, be in the company of the people who don't talk negative about others, obviously we develop those qualities. So because of our presence in that situation, we develop those qualities. Like when we gather in this prayer hall, usually Swamiji conducts the prayer. So when we listen to the words of Swamiji, because of those words, our mind gets conditioned and we develop good qualities, pure thoughts, and it helps us in our life. So to illustrate this point, I would like to narrate another short story. This is from a book in which we have a number of stories about Akbar and Birbal. Akbar was a king and Birbal was one of his advisors or ministers. So once Akbar and Birbal, they went to a forest, and they went for hunting into a forest actually. So after a certain time, they ventured deep into the forest, and accidentally, while shooting an arrow, the thumb of the king got hurt and it was bleeding. So it was painful for him. And Birbal immediately tried to console him and said, don't worry, because whatever happens, happens for our good. God always thinks something better for us. So this also has something good for you. So the king got angered and he felt hurt by these words, and immediately he ordered his soldiers to arrest Birbal and put him in the prison. And the next day, again, the king Akbar, he went into the forest and he was hunting, and today there was no Birbal along with him. So he went deep and very deep into the intense and dense forest. And after a certain point, he ventured into the area of the tribals, local tribals living there, and immediately they catch hold of him. So for them, the people who enter their territory, they don't accept it. It may be a king or someone else. So they capture him and they are ready to sacrifice him in front of their goddess. After some time, suddenly one of the tribal members, he looks at Akbar and he says that there is a cut in his thumb and it was bleeding. So he was unfit for sacrifice, because according to their tradition, only an able-bodied person is sacrificed. So because of that, they leave the king. So the king immediately rushes back to his kingdom and apologizes to Birbal in the prison and says sorry. So there, even though good words were said by Birbal, he could not understand that. So that is why when we listen to good things, we should be able to recognize it, and when we are in the company of wrong things, wrong ideas, we should be able to identify it. So when we have that difference in our intellect, then definitely we will know what to learn, what not to learn, what to do, what not to do, and thereby it helps us to lead a proper life. So that is what is the message of Swami Vivekananda, and this is what I wanted to share with you all. Thank you for listening. Have a pleasant evening.